welcome to Chapter 7 of A Cast of Players. Lots and lots has been revealed. More in the previous session. More character insights all around. So if you haven't checked it out on demand, feel free to go on over there. Sign up for a free trial. You can actually watch the whole series that way. But we do recaps for you guys here. So you can still know what's happened in the previous session anyway. So with no further ado, let's find out exactly what did happen in Chapter 6. Let's hand over to the Dungeon Master.
Yes, so at the end of our previous encounter, our crew of adventurers, mercenaries, wizards, scholars, whatever you want to call these magic users, travellers, legends, encountered a traveller of their own. A strange being called himself Galen. And using his mastery of the tide, or at least so it seemed, he managed to activate a stone obelisk that you had unearthed within the temple of the Cathedral deep in the forests of the Baywood. And in a flash, Galen was gone. Our adventurers, eager to leave, did so relatively sharply, Erevan staying behind to see what form of magical energy permeated the room. Instead feeling not a sense of unease or power, but rather one of warmth and comfort. And upon leaving through the map chamber of the temple, our party realised that some of the gemstones that were embedded in the map had lit up. 2 of them corresponded to their current position. Others were scattered and dotted throughout the world. Most were completely blank and inactive. And they theorised that perhaps these were used as gateways or portals as part of a transport network, although whether they're correct or not remains to be seen. Leaving the temple, they returned to their companions, Eric, Joanna, and Cain, who had been tending to the wounded and the captured villagers of Rading, an assortment of men, women, children, even a dwarf and a half-elf amongst them. After a brief respite within the cave, they left west based on the map that they had procured from the cave, to head back to the village of Rading, return these people to their homes, and hopefully themselves find some peace from the violence that had erupted around them over the last few hours. Most of their journey went without incident. In fact, much of it was filled with pleasantries amongst the group. Perhaps finally trusting each other, or perhaps just because what else was there to do on their long journey than to talk and discuss what had perhaps brought them here. Details of Griffin's self-imposed exile were brought about, based on his boyish ways.
Sordid past.
Anrakai began a tale that was interrupted by an attack from a pair of dire wolves, perhaps split from their pack, perhaps just lone wanderers themselves, who fell upon the group and their escorts, and almost succeeded in dragging one of the poor unfortunate souls away into the darkness of the Baywood, were it not for the efforts of the party in saving him. After this, Luco and Erevan opened up some of their tales of their home, tales of family, and some jovial discussion with Cain. A simple man, and the smallest of his brothers, so he says. And moving further on, they then encountered an area of the Baywood, uprooted, trees hacked down, cleared for what appeared to be a makeshift camp. Eric investigated and was quick to pull the party away as 2 ogres entered the area, discussing how the Scalies, as they called them, had caused problems with the Pinkies, and how the fire could perhaps be why there are no more pinkies. And incidentally, the direction they are travelling is from the west. Eager to avoid yet more violence and bloodshed, and to protect their charges, the party began to fall back, moving away and around, until, unfortunately, Anrakai snapped a branch underfoot, alerting the ogres to their presence. And that is where we return. So, yes, last we left, you had unfortunately failed some stealth checks. Both you and Erevan as well. But that was enough for the group as a whole. That was enough for the group as a whole to fail the required stealth checks to make it past these ogres, who had basically been eating kobolds, devouring them in one, if not two bites. But the snap of the tree branch has alerted them to your presence, and thus we are here. So, gentlemen, what would you like to do?
I believe they're coming towards us at this stage, aren't they?
Yeah.
They are, yes. You heard them calling out, shouting at each other. What was that?
How fast is an ogre? Are they slow and cumbersome, or are they fast because they've got longer strides?
Well, they are about 10 feet tall, so...
So they're fast. In that case, it's time to draw our weapons, gentlemen.
Mine's already drawn. So the minute the gnarled branch snapped, you could. Amakai sort of closed his eyes. He cursed under his breath. Spins, draws Elandius, brings it to his nose like in a salute. He then gets into a stance. You've not seen him do this before. Swings the blade round in what appears to be a blade form. Bit of an unusual form. Mind you, you are a rapier fighter and you're a spear fighter, so perhaps it's just a different style. But he brings the blade round, several motions, several sweeps, then holds it in front of him, and then he looks along the blade so he can see in the reflection if there's anyone behind him, and then looks over the blade and waits for the ogres.
Okay, cool. Well then, I think we're going to have to roll initiative, aren't we?
Yeah. One thing, just before we do...
Or not!
Or not, we will be. Well, Luca...
I send the monkey to attack the ogres. Go on.
And I'm sure he'd win in the Luca does make sure all the villagers that we're travelling with get down and get to the back.
Sure,
basically.
sure.
Yeah, and as he rushes on through.
And
Yeah, go on.
Go on.
He basically shouts, get them, get down, basically. Get down! Get down! Get out of here!
Come on!
Come on, mate, you'll be alright.
And basically yell out to the train to get out, get down, hide.
Okay, cool.
So
what essentially happens as you do this, Kane strides forward past you. As the villagers move past Kane, it's almost like a swap over. Eric and Joanna form up basically in front of where the villagers have gone. But you see Eric looking over at Amrakai, and you can almost hear him shake his head as you sort of wait and move. And
Shut up, old man, and get your guns out. I said, this doesn't even turn to look at him.
At this, yeah, roll for initiative.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I rolled a 12, and then I get +6, I'm on 18.
18 is
That's immense.
Yeah.
extra free initiatives, no joke.
Luca?
Yeah. I rolled a 16, +2 makes me 18.
Yep.
I roll also a 16 plus 1,
guys.
17.
Jesus, guys!
We're keen.
I rolled a 10, +2, which is 12.
Alright, cool. Well, I won't tell you that the ogres rolled a natural 1.
Wasn't me.
However, you notice that whilst Joanna is sort of itching to move forward, the grip of Eric is around her forearm, and as you two move past them, sort of to move up in the next few seconds, you can see him looking down at her, just shaking his head. Kane remains there, wanting to stick with the villagers.
Now
You guys will be by yourselves in this fight.
Wow.
Wow, very good.
Cool.
Okay, so
Can we move up so we're all next to each other?
Like
a row
it'll
of
be
legends?
Griffin's turn. So.
Sure. Okay.
So we're in the woods, right?
Yes.
So what I want to do, and I believe I can do this with my level 3 rules now, is I actually want to step to the side and try and hide behind a tree, so when they come out, then I can slash and do a sneak attack like that way.
So you can take the hide action as a normal action anyway.
Yeah.
But rogues as a cunning action can use hide as a bonus action. So you could still have a full normal action, but I would need to check, because I don't know if you ready an action as part of...
So yeah, essentially what I want to do is hide and then wait for them to run past and then come out and slash at them.
So you can take the ready action on your turn, which lets you act using your reaction before the start of your next turn. So the ready action you would use, and you would use hide as a bonus action. You need to make a dexterity stealth check in your attempt to hide.
Okay, I'll do that now.
Brave Sir Robin.
Smart Sir Robin. Okay, it's not good. I got I rolled a 4, then my dexterity is so it'd be 7. And do I get a proficiency?
Are you
that?
proficient in stealth?
In stealth? No, I took sleight of hand instead because that seemed cool.
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, as you attempt to move behind one of the trees, the ogres see this flash of movement, so they would know that you are there.
Okay.
As they begin to head towards it.
So, as there was a bonus action, then do I get to do anything else?
Well, you would ready an action. You would use your ready action to prepare your attack action.
So I've still prepared to attack.
Yes,
but
yes,
I'm not hiding.
Yeah. So as soon as so basically, if you were to be hidden, you would gain advantage on.
It's very
that.
technical. Seems very technical. It's not, is it? I'm just slow. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Carry
so
on. So I'm ready. I've got a prepared attack action ready to attack.
If you'd have succeeded on the hide action, you would have gained advantage
as well.
Basically.
Okay, so I don't have it.
Which would have meant you could have had your sneak
You
attack.
have got
Yeah,
a sneak.
so that's what I was trying to do.
Right.
Luca.
All right. So they're basically charging towards us, aren't they?
They've begun to slowly trudge towards you, but they haven't broken out into
Have
like
they
a run.
spotted us, just to confirm?
They've heard.
Because I know we were went around.
Yeah, you've
this-
begun to move around. They've moved
Right.
towards the source of the sound.
Yeah.
But the movement that some of you are probably making has made them see movement, but they don't know specifics.
Yeah. So okay, so I've seen that basically you've put your guard up.
Yeah.
You've taken a ready action.
Mhm.
So Luca's kind of, pushed to the front in line with all of you guys.
Okay.
And he basically, again, kind of like unsheathing, again with the ribbon comes down. And he kind of takes like a spearman stance as well. He's taking a ready action as well.
Okay, so you're going to ready to attack when someone enters your space.
Exactly.
Okay, whereabouts are you moving to? Remember, you're sort of back here.
Back here. So I'll be...
They've moved back.
So I've just
they're sort
gone-
of there. They're essentially out of the combat.
I'm just going to whoosh go straight forward. I pretty much end up about there next to...
Okay, cool. So yeah, you're still about 25 feet away at this point.
Yep.
Amrakai?
Okay, so Amrakai's already prepared himself for a charge, and he can hear them coming. I imagine he's looking through the opening in these woods, and he's just waiting for these, the silhouettes through the morning fog to suddenly burst out of it.
Yeah.
Last Samurai style, and he stands there. What he will do, from a rules perspective, is I'm going to activate Second Wind.
Okay.
Okay, so I need to heal some more things. So you don't notice Amrakai doing anything other than that form that he just did, that flourish. But from a fighter point of view, I will activate second wind because Amrakai is pretty wounded. He's still got fresh wounds over him. There's his dry blood. It's not good. Okay, so I get D10 plus my fighter level in hit points back, and it's a free.
Sure.
Right, so I rolled a 6 plus my fighter level, which is 3, so I get 9 hit points back.
Nice.
So that will put me on 17 plus 9. That's not bad.
28. It's back to full hit points.
Nice.
Nice one.
And he was complaining that second wind wasn't very good.
It's alright.
Just hit me to full
I can't do it until I rest again.
Yeah, true. But still.
Exactly, so it's alright. So, with that done, one thing that you do notice is as he focuses, the soil sort of goes up around his feet as he's really pushing in there, and then it's almost like you hear like a cracking sound, and it could be some of the branches that are underneath his feet, but he staggers for a moment and his eyes widen, and then he focuses more and his nose starts bleeding black blood.
Dude.
Okay, now make one explode.
Kill them all!
Okay, so I'm a bit further back from you guys, aren't I?
For now, yes.
Right. So Erevan is going to shunt his way up to stand with the rest of the guys. That's going to be alright, isn't it?
Yeah, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, you've got another 10 foot of movement if you wish.
Yeah. So no, this is excellently cinematic. So he's going to stand next to his brethren.
I mean, you sure you don't want to run closer towards the ogres?
No. So what he's going to do, he's going to nip up. He's not actually got Augur out yet, so he's dropped the case to the ground. And what you see him do is draw, with his gauntlet hand, he draws a circle into the ground and sort of does like quite a crude mark into the dirt, which sort of looks like a man, I suppose. He then puts the gauntlet down, and you see like a little, like a pulse around it. He picks up where the little glyph was. He points towards the ogre on the right, and he says, "Beast, you belong to me now."
Whoa, wait, whoa, what?
Whoa!
And I cast Crown of Madness.
What? Okay.
Crown of Madness.
I've got a new spell, everyone! Tell me what you do!
So Crown of Madness has a range of 120 feet. I select a now. Do they count as being humanoids? These two.
They're bipedal.
They're technically large giants.
So yes.
Yes. Yes. Just yes.
No, because humanoids have their own specific subset. It's humanoids, giants,
Definitely
aberrations, abominations, things like that.
That sucks. Well, in which case I'm going to do something different.
Yeah.
So, he's going to. So that didn't happen.
Yeah,
that didn't happen.
Sure. Which
He's-
is a shame because that was epic.
what he's done, he's dropped the case, and he's actually got Augur out because they're giants apparently and not humanoids.
It's not my fault. I didn't write it.
What he does now, he sort of holds Augur down to his side, and with his gauntlet, he holds up three fingers like this towards them, and quickly spins it round into a fist. And you hear what sounds like shattering glass.
Okay.
I cast Mirror Image.
Oh, whoa!
Oh yeah.
Yeah, boy. And suddenly what you see is where Erevan was standing, there are now 4 identical Erevans standing in a square.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That's so cool.
So yeah, mirror image is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
It's really, I say pretty good. It's really good.
Right, so what? So, okay, so
So essentially,
roll. Does it happen? Roll. Do you have
It
to
just
roll?
happens.
it just happens.
Yeah.
You don't even know. He just does it.
Yeah.
So It's broken.
Do you want to give a quick description of what it does?
It's broken. Someone consult chapter approved. So essentially, the 3 duplicates will move identically to what I do. As attacks are being thrown at me, on a roll of a d20, whilst I have the 3 duplicates, on a 6 or higher, they miss.
Well, they hit the duplicate, they don't miss.
Well, they miss me.
Yeah, they miss
Yeah.
you, which is
Yeah.
the important thing.
Yeah,
And then
no,
they
we're
need
not-
to see if they actually hit the duplicate as well.
Yeah. If they do hit, then they will go. When I go down to 2 duplicates, it's on an 8. When it's down to 1 duplicate, it's on an 11. So
Really good.
yeah,
Wow.
pretty cool. Pretty cool. So there's 4 of me now. Sorry.
That was pretty cool.
Amrikai must be like, oh god.
Well, technically, I don't, because you're behind me. I haven't seen it happen, but I'm sure I'll have something to say when I turn around and see there's 4 of you.
No, I wouldn't be able to do anything additionally now, would I?
No, because that's a full action.
Cool.
Yeah.
I am ready.
Alright, cool.
We are ready.
So,
Yes, we are.
the ogres move through, and you hear like the breaking of branches and trees, and this ogre essentially barges through this gap in the trees and sees you sort of standing there. Pinky! And brings his club swinging down on you.
Wait, who's he swinging down on?
On Amrikai.
Doesn't he have a? Isn't your action ready? And don't you get to attack him first?
So as he brings the club up, you can make your reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on a minute here.
So as it comes, he comes up, raises his blade. His is this the no? It's the stone mace one. So Amrikai was just standing there, and as he comes in, raises his arms. Amrikai flicks the blade, drives it through his neck. Get. So that's a 9 plus strength bonus and proficiency. So we're looking at 14.
Okay, you do indeed hit.
Yes. So with my great weapon, it's 2d6 damage, re-rolling 1s and 2s if I choose to.
Indeed.
So I've got a 5, 6, 7, 8 plus my strength bonus, making it 11 points of damage in total.
Alright, nice. So you you move for the neck,
Yeah.
But you misjudge the height of the ogre
Yes.
now that it's on top of you, and you sort of catch it in the breastplate, not the breastplate, in the breast, just above the plate of armour that's attached to its gut.
It goes through layers of this,
Griffin heard breasts.
rolling layers of fat, basically,
Yeah.
in this ogre.
So your sword finds purchase, and as you sort of yank it out, you can see almost like blubber begin to pour and ooze out.
Yeah.
But the ogre's just not even paid attention to it and brings the club down
Skewered it, and he still brings the
square across you. So as you plunge the sword, you pull it out. This club crashes down on
So
you.
he does hit me.
He did
Okay.
hit you.
Oh, it's gross.
You only take 6 points of damage because I rolled a double 1.
But
That's still 6.
terrifying.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. So as Amrikai pulls the blade away and he's hit, you can see that this is a massive weapon. But he takes it, you'd expect him to be floored. Instead, he still stands. One of his knees buckles slightly, but he then just raises up, and this ogre looks in surprise as his mace is just sort of being risen away from the floor as I just stand there and stand back up to full height. I look like I've been hit, but I'm okay.
You're fine.
Legend.
The second one barges through as well, hearing this sort of clash of steel, and looking amongst the ones here, he sees a man that's wearing a fancy hat and goes, "Oh, shinies!"
Excellent.
and goes to attack you.
Sure.
And what's your armor class?
So my other class is because I have my dexterity to it, right?
You do.
So it would be my dexterity is +3. My armor class is 11, so that would be 14. But I get an extra +1 to that because of my thing, so it'd be 15.
I still hit you.
Damn it!
Wow.
And you will take.
That was about.
Well, hang on.
Oh yeah.
I have my a moment of
So,
attacking first. So
Just before I hit you.
maybe he hits me. We don't know for sure yet because I might kill him. So essentially, it's quite hard to do a description if you know you're going to get hit, isn't it? Sorry, that's fine. I think what happens is. Griffin, so I imagine he kind of comes to like uppercut with his blade like this, and so Griffin tries to spin out of the way, and as he does, he tries to take off the hand, so he does like this spin and takes out, and he does hit the hand, but as the hand flings off the ogre, the blade is so large it still cuts him across the face. So he kind of they both move past each other and land in like these two piles there. So
back to back.
Yeah, back to back. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Griffin's got this gash.
Yeah.
And he's just there going. Wah! So
And then at that point.
yeah, exactly.
The camera pans down to the face.
Okay, so I roll a 12 plus my dexterity and proficiency is a 17.
It does indeed hit.
Now, it's not a sneak attack, or is it? Because we're 1-on-1 here, I would have advantage.
You also have an ally within 5 feet because these guys are taking up 10 foot by 10 foot squares because they're large creatures,
Right.
so you would have advantage.
I would have advantage.
Alright.
So, God bless, good night. So, I roll a 5, a 5, and a 1. So that's 11 plus my proficiency is 13 wounds. And I don't have my dex to that as well, do I?
You add your dex, not your proficiency.
Oh, then it's 14 wounds. Yeah, say good night, left hand.
So as you bring this up, it slices across the ogre's forearm. He shakes it off and then brings this cleaver down across you.
Yeah.
He did hit you.
Oh no.
You are taking 8 points of damage.
Oh,
I can't roll very well.
Oh, that was very lucky. That was very lucky. So I still like to think, that they kind of end up with back to back. But Griffin's got this gash across his body, and he's instead of standing there triumphantly, he's on one knee, and blood is just spilling out of his chest. He's not in a good way actually. He didn't need to take that hit at all. Okay. But it was still pretty cool what he did.
And Griffin, it is now actually your turn. So you managed to use your reaction just before your turn.
Excellent. That is so epic. So he kind of looks down, and he's covered in blood, and he sees his face also has a gash on it, and he goes, "My face! My beautiful face! I'll make you suffer!" And he turns around and he goes, "Ah!" And he leaps up into the air, and actually this thing's leg was back, so he kind of bounces off his calf muscle, just goes crack into the nape of his neck and just pulls it down like this. Ah! His back spills open, all of his guts fall out all over him, and he stands up outside of it all and just goes, "Ogre Slayer!"
The guts fall out of his spine.
They fall out of his spine because that's where ogres keep their guts. Yeah! Okay, so...
What did you roll? It's a 4.
I rolled a 4, so I rolled a 9 in total.
So as you sort of spin round, you plunge the blade into the ogre, and you just sort of plunge it in, and it goes,
Oh no.
and this ogre just starts swatting at you like a fly.
Yeah, but I'm still on his back. I'm still on his back.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Or do you want to utilise your swashbuckler ability to go, "I attacked you, and I'm now going to move away," and you
No,
can't
I'm
attack me
gonna
back?
move away.
It's a good idea.
So what Griffin does is he kicks himself, he backflips off and lands on the ground.
Yeah.
Realising that this is going to take more than his normal cunning.
Okay, so you will now, as a swashbuckler, using your fancy footwork ability, anyone that you attack in melee cannot make attacks of opportunity against you, so you are now able to move away your full distance. It still frees up your cunning action to dash or to hide. So basically you disengage for free.
Yeah. which
Just
is
really
epic.
cool.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm kind of over here,
Yeah.
and then he kind of goes over here.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that would be about right.
That'd be about right.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that he flipped that far back.
I mean, that was some good purchase there. That was some spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Griffin.
That's some anime flipping right there.
Well, I mean, we just had their whole.
Yeah.
blood splatter, so
It makes sense.
did we also have the cinema bars coming down?
Yeah.
I mean, do you even animate?
Yeah.
Please.
That was so much fun. I don't really mind what happens with the rest of this.
Luca, it is your turn.
Alright. Okay. Basically, Luco quickly tumbles forward, and as he's coming up, he raises his spear into the inner thigh of that ogre there.
This one here, yeah? Okay.
Right. Very simply. That is 10 plus 5 is 15.
It's a hit.
Yes, it's a hit. So I'm using both hands.
Ah.
6.
Not sure if I'll accept dropped dice, but okay.
You want me to reroll it?
Go on then. You
Alright.
watch him get an 8 now.
Yeah. I'll reroll that.
Rolling.
I was 6. So
God
that's,
wills it!
so that's 9. That ends up being
9 points of damage. Okay, cool. And so on this one here, yeah. 9 points of damage. So you stabbed him where?
in the inner thigh.
In the inner thigh. Okay, cool. Ooh. Kinky.
I guess.
So yeah, you stab him through in this inner thigh. You spear. pops
So what
in
he's
and out.
also doing is the blade plunges in, and as he does, he tries to twist it to make sure the wound stays open. Yes.
Blubber.
Sure.
Blubber. Yeah.
Cool.
Amrakai.
Okay, so Anrakai had his blade skewered in this, mass of fat on this ogre, withdraws it, then receives the club to his shoulder, but then continues to stand back up. What he does is he's already withdrawn his blade. He then brings his blade up against this mace, and in the crescent, locks the mace down on the ground. So he's locked the blade on his mace on the ground, and then flips his blade round and swipes at his neck, opening it up and spraying blood everywhere.
And organs.
Out of his spine.
Or not. Right, so we're on 18.
Oh.
It's a hit.
Also
Yeah.
There we
plus
go.
5, so 23.
It's a hit.
Okay, so just one shy of my critical
Yeah.
damage range. Okay, so we rolled a 6, 7, 8, 9 plus 3. So we're looking at 12 here points of damage.
Alright. Also, yeah, you cleave across this ogre's neck. You see part of its beard fall off.
Yeah.
And blood begins to trickle out of this wound. It's not quite as deep as you thought, but it makes it pause momentarily to go. And he spits this huge lump of blood out on the ground before redoubling his efforts onto you.
I then immediately initiate action surge as a bonus action.
Oh my. Okay.
What does that mean? Means I get to attack again.
He gets he gets to attack again.
As I bring the blade across its neck and I see it's still standing, I then drive the blade through its chest and it falls to its knees. This is a kill.
Kill it.
All right, Bill.
No, I don't.
Oh.
So no bonuses on, other than my normal proficiency.
It's
and
not gonna be
strength
enough.
bonus. It's
It's not going to be enough.
So,
Damn.
That's a shame.
it's a shame.
It's very cool then.
But it was worth a try.
Alright. So.
Didn't realise Matt McConaughey played D&D.
Alright. Inspired by this act of pure martial gloriousness.
They rolled a 1.
Yeah, my blade tries to drive it through.
He
its
also
fist.
rolled an 18.
True.
That's
That's
true.
enough for me. I just ignore ones, we all know that. Erebin has a surge of rage, wanting to bring this beast down. He holds his gauntlet up, brings up his lucky finger down, pulls backwards and casts Hexblade's Curse.
You cannot. You already did it on the wolves.
Oh no!
I need to stop explaining stuff I can't do!
Twice now!
Um,
Yeah, the Hexblade's Curse is a once per short or long rest ability, and you use it on the wolves in the last
Well,
combat.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do instead. Tell you what I'm going to do instead!
Tell us.
I'll tell you.
What is
He's going to tell.
So he, with his gauntlets in hands, he brushes his coat out the way and rests his hand on the book that is attached to the chain on his belt.
Ah, the book.
The book. We all love the book. You probably not something that anyone else sees, but there is a faint sort of like throb and glow that comes out of the book, and as he lets go, you sort of see this sort of like a circle come around his gauntlet, and I cast True Strike on the ogre, which gives me a little bit of insight into his weaknesses.
Oh.
Okay, so you cast True Strike.
Yes, I do.
He has no.
I'm going to preface this now with True Strike because
Oh my
the
God.
way that I read it, it's the spell is it doesn't work because essentially, can you read out True Strike? What it does?
Yes. I
Without
extend my
reading.
hand to the target in range.
Mhm.
I did that, so it does
Yeah.
work. On my next turn, I gain advantage on the first attack roll against the target, provided that the spell hasn't ended.
Okay, how long does the spell last?
The spell lasts for
1 second.
a round.
Okay, so the problem is that at the beginning of your next round, the spell ends before you get a chance to attack. That's the problem with the spell. So we will ignore that little bit and say that it applies to your next melee attack. Let's just say
Cool.
that.
Okay,
Because otherwise it has no function.
Yeah, otherwise the spell
Yeah.
just doesn't
Yeah.
work.
amazing. So what happens? Erebin will launch himself forwards. He will spring up on one of the roots that are on the ground, and where he's seen this wound open up on the ogre's throat, he drives Augur straight through that same wound.
In the next
Yes.
turn. In the next turn.
Yes.
3 times!
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
happens.
so because True Strike is a full action,
Yeah.
and an attack is a full action,
Yes.
because if there was a cantrip that just gave you advantage on your next melee attack this turn, that'd be probably the most powerful cantrip in the game.
Yeah.
So that's not what it does.
So I can't attack him now.
You cannot attack.
No, so we've said next turn like 3 times.
What if he uses action surge?
Oh, he's not a fighter.
Okay.
What if he uses a command point?
It's the wrong game.
So yeah, you
Oh.
you will essentially you determine a weakness. You find like a magical ley line of energy that you can sort of use as a pinpoint to strike true.
Next turn.
But next turn,
Alright.
so you basically you take aim.
I've taken aim
Excellent.
through the ether.
Right, I believe it's.
The monster's turn.
Yeah.
So
As Erebin flies through the air, he's battered to the
so this one here with the club, seeing that you've swung, you've cut through his neck, cut off some of his beard, and then you've gone to strike at him again. He brings the club round down, batting the sword to one side
Yeah.
before jabbing you directly with it, almost lifting you off your feet. So almost catapulting.
Winding me and knocking me off my feet. Okay.
Indeed. He does not. He misses.
Yes, of course he does.
So I like to think that when I tried to do the killing, the coup de grace, as Amakai would have said, he does indeed club my, because I'd already locked his club down. He then raises his club, knocks my blade out of the way. Then as he comes in on me, we have like basically a flurry of parries. So, and then I get back into a ready position, and he faces off against me.
Okay. This one here, as you've cut across him with your with the thigh, Luco, he brings his cleaver down, swinging it at the midsection across you. And what's your armor class?
Yeah, it's 14, isn't it?
It's a hit.
Ah.
So I'm afraid you take 10 points of damage.
Well, that's
His
the
cleaver.
He had like 1 million.
10 points.
So his cleaver cuts across your sternum,
Well, that's just rude.
staining. It's like slicing through your robes and staining them red with blood.
Ugh. Yeah. No, I don't like that.
Griffin turn.
So Griffin, who's landed back, and then essentially, like, because it happens so fast, he lands almost like skids, and then he starts running forward again. So he charges forward, holding the Dawn of Hadol, and he's looking for some sort of weakness, and he sees the back of the knee becomes clear on this as he turns on Luco, and so he lunges forward and plunges his blade into the back of the knee, crippling the ogre as he falls to the ground.
Okay, and this is the one that is attacking Luca, yeah?
Yeah, it's one that actually just attacked me as well.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool. So that is a. So I rolled a 6, plus my dexterity of 3, so it's 11.
Unfortunately,
What?
that is a miss.
Hey. That's a
So
shame.
as you bring your sword in, I'm assuming you sort of the baggy pants of like patchwork cloth that the ogres are wearing has given way. It's almost created like an illusion, and you've sort of gone where you think the leg is, and it's just punched
Just
through
punch
cloth.
straight through, right? Now, can I disengage again?
Yes, so your fancy footwork ability works even if you miss.
Great. Cool. So that's what I do.
Yeah, it's,
So, and when he
can't be
realizes
it.
he misses, so like almost like the ogre turns and goes, whoa, and he just goes, just skips backwards.
Sure. Okay, cool. Luca.
On my turn.
Yeah, this is nice, easy
Oh, yeah, brilliant.
initiative. It's literally
All right. So he's come down through my midsection and he's cut through me. He's also cut through my robe. Luco just falls to one knee. You can see that there's blood dripping from his midsection. He sees that his robe is torn, and he puts his hand on his stomach like this. Looks at the blood, and he can start to see his fist start to clench. He takes the blood in his hands, smears up along his face, and he's looking at the ogre right in the eye. His eyes start to go red, and he is starting to rage. Yes. Now, I have entered a rage,
yes.
and on level 3, I get a little something extra for it.
Ooh.
That's right.
What path have you chosen?
Yes, taking the path of the Totem Warrior.
Why did that
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So one of the abilities with this is the Totem Spirit, which you can have one of 3 in this level. You can have the bear, the eagle, or, funnily enough, the wolf.
I see what you done there.
So he chose the bear.
Yeah.
He chose the eagle.
No, I have indeed chosen the wolf, which says, while you are raging, your friends have an advantage on melee attack rolls against any creature within 5 feet of you that is hostile to you. The spirit of the wolf makes you a leader amongst hunters.
So essentially,
So as you look over, if you get the chance to look over to me, it's almost like you're probably a little bit hazy in your state. It almost looks like I'm transformed, almost like kind of like a lichen kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And it just kind of making you go like this. And so I'm entered the rage, and I go to attack. You go back.
So this doesn't provide advantage to Luco, but what it does do is that if any of you guys are attacking a monster that is hostile to Luco and in melee combat with him, you will gain advantage against that creature.
Huge. 2d20, but the highest.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So that's only whilst he's raging, but bearing in mind, combat in D&D generally tends to doesn't last much longer than 10 rounds anyway.
Yeah.
So proceed with your turn, Luca. What would you like to do?
Yeah.
So that's his bonus action done.
Yeah, that's bonus action done.
To rage.
Yeah.
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 So on my last action, believe so I had the spear in there, and he's done all that. Yeah, like that. So sorry, what's that?
So yeah, you had the spear in the thigh.
Yep. And so basically, what he does, he just takes the spear, and he just slices right up through his middle, like that.
Alright, cool. Does it?
And clefts him in twain.
Does he?
Better. He's rolled a 7.
Okay.
Plus 5 equals 12.
It's a hit.
Yes!
Hey,
yes.
Hi there.
Hey.
That's awesome.
He's used both hands and with a rage, big pardon.
Yep.
Right. So as I am raging, I add +2 to my damage roll.
Mm-hmm. On top of the 3 for your strength as well. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's an 8.
Ooh, in total?
No.
Roll.
That's a natural 8.
Ooh.
+3 is 11. +2 is 13.
Ooh.
But
Unlucky for
13
ogres.
points of
I like a ogre, yeah.
13 points of damage
Nice.
off the bat.
Yes.
Nice. So yeah, this whereabouts did you hit him?
Right in the middle.
Right at the middle. Oh yeah, you sort of went. So this thin line sort of moves up its chest, and you see just the blood begin to sort of trickle out, and the ogre takes a step back, but then and moves his cleaver up to attack once more.
Yeah.
Right. So Amrakai's just had this flourish of parrying blows with this mace. He then, I imagine we've just stood back from each other, and just to my left is Erebon that's just arrived. I can see that you have been unfortunately summoning the tide.
Soz.
Nonetheless, Amrakai looks at you like angrily, and then ignores you, turns, spins round, and then tries to take out the leg of this ogre at the knee. Just Braveheart style, just chops it off, severs it.
So you're making this attack with non-advantage because
No,
this is a different
It's
one.
not advantage yet, and I also rolled a 2, so it's a 7.
That's a shame
and
it
then-
wasn't an
sorry.
advantage.
No, it's a 7, and it is a massive miss. So I imagine the ogre just sort of steps over it.
Yeah, pretty much just ignores it completely.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So yes, I cast True Sight before. So
So
I was like,
strike. True sight is like an 8th level spell. True strike.
only that as well. So
True strike.
as I explained before, where he held his gauntlet up, as he brings it down, it kind of reveals the ogre again because it was blocking it out from his vision. And as it gets pulled down, Erebon just sees him as sort of like a outline of like blue cloud essentially. So he's kind of seeing him from the perspective of energies. Amongst that blue, where Amrakai caused the wound to his throat before, there is a red sort of like trail going down, which would be like a major artery. He pinpoints this. Now he leaps up from a root and plunges Augur straight through the artery
Alright.
and cuts his throat out. This is at advantage. That's a really nice dice.
Yes.
It's very heavy. So it's 2d20, right?
2d20, pick the highest.
Oh!
What did you do?
A 19 and a 20.
It really was a true strike.
Yeah.
Yes!
So the 20 is indeed a critical.
Yes!
So this means you double your damage dice.
Oh my god. As in, double the amount I'm throwing or the result?
You double the amount that you throw.
Okay, cool. If I
So
can-
it's a d8 for your long sword.
Where's...
Do you roll that twice?
Oh, just do it
I have a
twice.
d8 here.
Thanks, pal.
It's
Right.
So you need another d8.
Yes.
Somehow.
Oh no, I've got a d8 here.
Right. So as a hexblade,
Yes.
because you are you are sort of bonded with this weapon. No. I mean, like, because there's other like weapon bond abilities that Pact of the Blade can do, and other classes and monsters have abilities.
I was just a little bit concerned about the use of wording there, as in
bonded.
no, as in like it's the one in the stick.
No,
it's a creature of
We're
something
very
that might
good
have
friends.
control
No.
over.
So essentially, a hexblade can a hexblade can touch a weapon at the end of any long rest. and he can use his charisma in place of strength or dexterity with that.
Right.
So this is made with your charisma bonus rather than
Yep.
strength.
Okay. Cool. So we got after all that, after those 2 great rolls, I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Of course you did.
My charisma modifier is 3, so it's 6 wins.
I mean, it's still 6 points of damage, but oh, did. Of course you did.
That's hilarious.
Damn it!
Take your stupid dice.
Clearly, it's my fault. Yes.
Brilliant.
Oh dear. Okay.
As he hits the ground. Oh, that's really annoying. As he hits the ground, as sort of like a nod to his martial colleague there, he sort of like cleans the blades of all the gook and sort of gives you a little nod because I've attacked with a sword rather than the.
And Rakai actually raises an eyebrow at you and continues to stand in his defensive position.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. On the basis of that,
6.
this guy here,
God.
he sort of batted away your sword, seen you come in, like the sword has sort of grazed past its neck again, and as you sort of drop down to the floor to its, you've sort of come from this direction, so it's you've fallen down to the side here. He's followed you with the club, bringing it down on you.
Followed all 4 of us.
What's your armor class?
12.
What's your dexterity?
My dexterity is what the modifier 1.
+1. Okay, cool. So this will indeed. Oh, hang on. When do you roll for mirror image? Is it when I pick you as a target?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Roll a d20.
Just missed.
Okay. So as this club follows you down, it sort of slams straight down in the center of where you are. Mm-hmm. At that point, it flickers, and you're actually just to the right, and you're like, and one of your mirror images shatters into this almost illusionary glass. And he brings it up again,
Hey?
in front of him,
Oh, right, okay.
ready to swing again.
Cool.
What?
This one, again, you sort of sliced up on him.
Yeah.
The cleaver comes down at face level. Your armor is 14. Does indeed hit.
Oh, come on.
And you will take 14 points of damage. It's a good thing you're raging. Because that is slashing damage.
Yeah.
So that will be halved, because
Jeez.
whilst you are raging, you have resistance to slashing damage.
Wow, you're
And piercing and bludgeoning.
So you just take 7.
tank.
But that's a good thing too. You take 7 points of damage.
That's crazy.
That's not good, man.
Oh, that's not fun.
Griffin.
Alright, so Griffin, realising his kind of cursing to himself, and kind of has this moment where he kind of swings his sword like, come on, get in the game, get in the game. He stops and he gets down low, and then he watches again as he sees this slash go across. He sees the same mark open up where he was going for below the knee, but this time, because there's a gap in the pantaloons that these things are wearing, he actually sees the skin. He goes there, charges forward, lunges again, plunges it straight through, and the Dawn of Hainault, actually the blade just pops out of his kneecap from behind. Then he pulls it out, spins. This is obviously one attack, but the description: spins, slashes across, takes the leg off at the knee, falls on the ground, walks over, stands on his head, puts his blade through the ear of the ogre and kills him. That's exactly
well,
what
considering
happened.
that you have advantage on this attack as well.
It's quite possible.
It's possible if you get a crit.
Alright,
If you get a crit, my god.
critical.
Oh, God.
Okay, it's not quite. It's an 18 though, an 18.
Okay, well, that
So it's a definite hit, plus we
It is
don't
a
need
hit.
to worry about that.
It's a hit.
Okay, so it is sneak attack. No?
It is a sneak attack, yep, because you had advantage on the roll.
I sure did. Let's do this. Okay, so that is a total of... I rolled a 4, a 5, and a 2. So that's 11. Plus my dexterity is 14. And I have my preferred...
You don't add your
I keep doing this wrong. I keep doing this wrong. I keep doing this wrong. So that's it. 14 wounds. So he doesn't quite... I'm assuming he doesn't... Does he take the knee off?
He doesn't take the knee.
Okay, but it does go through. It definitely
This
does.
is what I mean, because as we've just seen with Erevan, where you roll a critical, you roll double the number of damage dice.
Yeah,
Sneak
yeah.
attack counts as damage dice. So if you get a critical with a sneak attack, you're rolling double your sneak attack damage. So you'd have rolled that
Huge.
twice,
That
and
would
you would have done. You probably would have killed him.
Oh, that would have been so epic.
And it
But
would've
anyway,
been,
yeah.
But as it is, as you do so, you bring the blade in. You do exactly what you described, and as you go to bring it through his ear, he lunges forward a little bit, and you scrape the back of his head. You can feel the bone of its skull and the metal scraping across it.
Oh, so he's on the ground. So I have taken.
He's gone down to one knee.
So I haven't taken off his knee.
No, but he's gone down to one knee. You've basically hamstringed him.
Yeah. That's so good. Yes. Okay, I'm happy with that.
Luca, you're
That's not my drink. That's not my beer. Just crap.
I don't know what's in here, but it's soon to be the blood of my enemies. Okay. Luca, your turn.
Alright, so he's hurt. He's pretty bad. Not as bad as they could have been, but he's pretty bad. So he's kind of fallen onto one knee again. But he also seen what Griffin did. The ogre's gone down on one knee himself, and he looks up, and he's like right there next to him. So he just kind of musters up every ounce of strength. He's still raging, and he just goes. Rah! He leaps up. He puts one leg on kind of where the ogre's knee is. He leaps up again, getting the lift from the knee, and he just comes down, and he kind of just plunges him into the side of the neck there, straight through his body out the other side of the rib cage. Yeah, come on.
Does he?
Yeah. That is it's 11 3 plus 2. That's
It's a hit.
Yeah. Great, awesome. Come on, people. Where's my dice? There we go.
We'll get you a glass of water in a minute.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. That'd be great.
Okay, the damage is.
Yeah, D8 plus 2.
Oh, God. 3 times! You rolled it on the table!
Here's a
D8.
Use mine.
What did you roll?
3.
Okay,
Plus 2 is 5.
okay, so
Plus 3
yeah, it's 8.
is 8. I kill him, don't I?
What happens to this ogre?
He does. That's exactly what I described. Then is pretty much exactly what happened. My spear goes all the way through his body. What happens is the spear, the blade comes out of his rib cage, and then you can just see the ribbon come out of the side as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, what he does then is he leaps down, goes to the other side, just pulls the spear all the way through. Ogre falls down dead.
We can feel the ground rumble as it.
And I need a glass of water and some honey.
All
Or
right.
maybe a strepsil.
And Rakai.
Right, so I've
Find it later.
swished my blade round, and he stepped over it as I tried to take out his knee. Then you've come in, done this like rabbit jab, if you like a rabbit punch, and it's opened him up again. He's looking pretty wounded now. His neck's bleeding out.
Is his throat gone?
He's bleeding out, but this one's still pretty, like, you can see him just sort of like getting angry, and he's not nearly as ruined as that one.
Right. Okay.
I mean,
so
because clearly that one's dead.
Yeah.
But but even before that, you can see that this one is still well in the game.
okay. So as the ogre sort of readies himself to bring the stone mace up again, and Rakai, because he's so much taller than him, tries to step up underneath and bring the blades up through the bottom of his jaw, and then out through the top of his head, just and then just looks at him, tries to get up to his height, eye to eye, but obviously he can't.
Not gonna happen.
That is a hit on a 17.
That is
Plus
indeed
5,
a
that is
hit.
22.
Indeed. Damage 2d6.
That is 4 and a 1, so 5 plus my strength bonus.
What can you
6,
do with that
7,
one?
8.
Can you re-roll
I
one?
can re-roll it.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, it's re-rolling.
4, 5, 6, 7, 10 points of damage.
10 points of
inside.
Oh,
Alright.
Yes.
So you plunge the
the sword up, sort of through the wound on its neck. Did you say?
No,
Right,
I'm putting it
under
through
the-
its jaw,
through its
up underneath its jaws.
So you ram it up. As you move to do that, the club bats it just forward, and it carves up across its face, and before it impacts on the metal helmet that it's wearing. So
Does it cut through? Does it cut through? So it cuts through the front part of
yeah,
his
so it's
face?
like it's
through his tongue.
it's not like a superficial
Yeah, it's
cut, but it's
Cuts
not
through
like a
his
full on
tongue.
like his face flies open and he dies.
Right,
It's
as the
like a
blade
dead
goes
organ.
through,
His face doesn't explode in organs. No.
Yeah.
as the blade goes through, it's actually a really horrible wound. You can hear the cracking of the jawbone, and you see its tongue just something almost go lizard-like, you know, and then out through the top part of its nose, and the blade comes out, and I said, "Keep a still tongue." And that's it. Yes. You won't be talking for a while.
I can't even. Erevan, your turn, mate.
All right. So obviously we're right next to each other again, in awe of this amazing swordsmanship. Erevan tries to replicate that kind of skill in his own kind of way.
Yeah.
Very simply, he spins anti-clockwise with Augur, and as he comes round with the force of his turn, where you've cut him up from his chin through to the top of his head, Erevan is going to do the opposite and make a cross shape on his face by taking the side of his blade into both of his eyes, like that.
Oh wow.
And I can't think of a cool strapline just yet, but give me a second.
Oh no.
Oh.
That's an 18, so that is a hit.
Yeah.
It's a hit.
Do the
And-
wound roll.
Yes. And he says in the words, is this a D10? I need now.
Yeah.
Does it have 10? No, it's a D8. It's a
D8.
D8 as you always need.
Oh no. Oh no, it's a different one. And in the words of John Cena, he says, "You can't see me!" That's 7 points damage.
Plus any bonuses.
Plus 3, 7, 8, 10! 10!
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Give me my best bet. You don't get to use this dice anymore.
So he's blind, right? He's blind now.
He's not blind.
Oh,
You,
are you sure?
as you sort of cut across part of his face, and he moves into the blade with his helmet. So again, the helmet sort of seems to take some of the blow away, but this part of his face is basically just a bloody, mangled mess at this point.
He's in a bad way.
At this point, he sort of stops with his one good eye, looks over at the corpse, hit the ground. Go! No! He brings one club down across Amrakai, and as soon as it hits the ground, he flicks it up and bats it across Erevan as well.
Ah!
So on Amrakai,
Whoa.
it's a hit.
Ah,
You take 12 points of damage.
Oh!
And on Erevan,
Hey.
what does it hit?
What does it hit?
You've got 2 mirror images left.
Oh yeah, cool. Of course. So this
It's a
is...
good thing I'm here.
It's me, chef. No, it doesn't. Maybe.
So on this, I've
I
got
think it's an
2
8.
left. So yeah, 8 or higher. It's a miss. That's
Okay.
17.
Again, it sort of... So he smashes you across Amrakai. You can hear the buckling of armour and like almost the bending of the metal. Almost flinging you to the ground. As soon as that rock club hits the ground, he swings it to the side across you. And again, you hear just the shattering of glass as one of your images almost... You feel yourself jolt to one side as the image moves. And bits of shards of illusionary glass shatter across the field.
Awesome.
Griffin, your turn.
Right. So, Griffin moves in over here. So, you've just pierced through this other ogre. So, as soon as Griffin sees that killing blow, he's off. He's racing over towards you guys. And again, he's looking for that weak point now, because he now knows that if he can hit them in the back, then if he can take their hamstrings out, then it's a lot easier to take them down once they can't move anymore and they're lower, so we can start hitting at their heads and stuff. So again, he goes for that lunge move, piercing through the knee. So
This won't be with advantage
because
Luco's all the way over
not
there.
Right, that's
But
fine.
you will get sneak attack if you hit.
If I hit. Yeah, cool. That's 15 with my... Oh, well, it's a 12 I rolled. Plus 3.
That'll
is
be a hit.
15. That'll be a hit. Oosh! I rolled a 6, a 5, and a 4.
Wow.
So what's that so far?
15.
15 plus my dexterity is 18 wounds.
Jeez.
Tell me it's alive, and I'll tell you you're a liar.
Proceed.
So what happens is, so he stabs the Dawn of Hainault through. It pierces through the knee. This thing goes, drops to the ground. He pulls out, spins out, takes it off the knee. He falls over, stands on top of it with his sword, puts it through the ear. There's a bit of brain on it, and he just flicks it off, and it just hits a tree and far away. And sits down, and no one even sees it because no one even cares because that ogre is dead. I'll add Ogre Slayer to my.
That went worse than I expected for me. No, well done. You took your beatings, but
Yeah.
I think overall that combat went quite well for you.
I didn't take any beatings.
Successfully managed to defend your charges.
So just as he gloriously eviscerates this ogre, the thing which happened a split second before is Amrakai was smashed across the torso with this mace. And as he is, you would have expected him to fly across the ground, but actually he staggers, but then maintains his stance, and he doesn't look too badly wounded, considering. So he is alive and kicking.
Okay.
So Griffin, as he kind of steps off this ogre, after I imagine he's surfs his body to the ground as it falls down, like Legolas style, but he is very badly wounded. He's bleeding profusely. He's got this gash that kind of went down across his face and across his chest, and he kind of stands there for a moment in like a triumphant glow, but then he kind of almost like staggers and falls.
Yeah. As you stagger, Amrakai, there's this massive arm just sort of grabs you, holds you up,
Thank you.
and then stab Elandia into the soil. It's sort of
Yeah.
Take out a cloth, wipe yourself off. You're bleeding.
As he does that, so he takes it and wipes himself off. So that's why he realises that it's almost futile. He takes out one of the vials that Eric gave him earlier. He pops it open and drinks it.
Okay, so the vials will heal 2d4 plus 2 hit points.
Okay.
That means you have 3 left, yes?
Yes, that's
3 left.
correct.
Okay, cool.
2 d4s. D4s.
I have a d4 if you require
I
one.
would like one, yes, please. Thank you, and I believe there's one here as
That
well.
was my loaded one that goes to a 1.
We'll see.
If it actually does, it's not actually loaded.
Yeah, maybe.
It was a 1 as well.
It was a 1.
It's not actually loaded. I'm not that cruel.
I rolled a 1, and then on the one that wasn't loaded, I rolled a 3.
Yeah,
So,
plus 2. So 6 points.
So 6 points I take back. Okay, so
Nice.
that puts him back to 11. So the wounds kind of heal up, but he's
Yeah.
still...
Yeah, they sort of begin to form, scab over with like this almost, as you drink it, you feel the warmth pass through you. You can feel the wounds stitch up, almost with this gelatinous fat forming over where the wound is, that's come from within.
Cool.
Eventually, this will heal scarless.
Yeah.
Great.
Do you have more of those?
3.
Good.
You're welcome to one if you need it.
I'll be okay.
Very good.
What Luco does is he gets up from the side of the deceased ogre, and he's coming down from his rage, but it's still not completely gone. So he starts to rush towards Kane and the rest of the villagers. And as he's kind of looking, it almost looks like you see that he's got a big wound down his middle and it's bleeding, but it's almost like he's not acknowledging it. So he just kind of hurries and makes his way down to Kane and to the villagers, and he just looks at Kane and he goes, "Is everyone all right?"
Yes.
Yes, you have protected. Yes, everyone fine. No more ogres.
Good.
You do not look fine.
So he says that, and Luca just kind of stops. He looks down, and he seems to be more concerned about the fact that his robe is torn than his wounds. And he just kind of reaches in and looks at it like this. And he stays standing, but he's kind of holding himself up like that.
Kane moves to catch you as you move, and you
Yeah.
sort of shake him away.
I'm afraid that I am unable to heal the wounds you have taken. I need to rest myself. But it is not just the flesh that I can mend.
And he holds a hand out over the robes and puts them together, and you sort of see the threads, and it's basically a seamless repair to it. He moves away. So,
I know it's not much, but at least Ludo has clean clothes now.
What?
Well, not clean, they're covered in blood, but I fixed clothes.
What Luca does is he actually holds his hand out like this. The kind of,
I cannot fix broken hand. I told you I'm not ready yet.
and Luca just says,
he takes it.
yeah. He does this, and he looks at it and goes, "You've had more than just wounds, my friend. Thank you."
May I suggest to friend Ludo that we not play arm wrestle game whilst he is hurting?
Thank you.
You
And
are
then releases it.
strange people. But if this is your way,
He sort of makes a bow towards you.
And Luca does the same in his own way. Thank you. And then kind of takes a few steps down, and then he sits. Almost just try to rest. He's kind of sitting here. This.
So, what time is it now?
You've probably been travelling from the temple clearing for about 4 hours now, so it's roughly it's coming up to about noon.
About noon.
It's probably about 11:30 noon at this time.
Okay.
Shall we take a rest or continue going?
It's probably just gone noon because you had a short rest at the caves.
Yeah, sure.
Some of your injuries still look serious.
Well, before we do anything, you heard what those ogres said. There's no pinks left.
In the village. A fire, I heard it.
Do you think
West.
they're talking about Rading?
Possibly.
Unless there's any other villages around this area. At that, Griffin kind of... are there any of the villages in earshot at at the moment?
Have you sort of moved back towards the main bulk of the group, or have you sort of
At the
remained over
moment,
by the
we're
clearing?
kind of in the clearing.
So you three are sort of by the clearing still.
Yeah.
So you would probably be just out of earshot of the villagers, who probably aren't really all that fussed about listening in.
Cool. Well, we could ask. However, the widespread panic might put through the group if they catch on to what the problem is.
Well, we need to make a decision.
I think we need to move from here.
Agreed. We don't know how far we still have to go.
I'll
We
be
do
fine.
not want to be here at night.
So be it. Let's get going then.
Well, where shall we head? If
We
west
must
is no
still
more,
head to Rading.
well, perhaps we should look at the map. There might be somewhere closer to town.
Well, as I recall, there wasn't, and I sort of take the map from
Yeah.
you. And I remember there was a town down further south, but if we are where we think we are, that's quite a ways off.
Yeah.
So
that's your map.
there is Bevale as a place, and there's another place which would be southeast, Stewart's Way. But we think that we're around here, so that would be. I mean, it may be a day and a half. So back in character. So
So,
Amberguy says, well, I don't think we can make these other places if we are around here.
well, if we get to Reading and it's ash and cinder, it'll be much better.
Well, then hopefully the fire's burning enough for us to be warmed up at least.
It does seem that there's some sort of road that goes down as well. Perhaps we could take that. Might be safer.
Also, if it truly is burned, this would have to be reported.
Reading it is then. Let's keep moving.
As you sort of make your way back towards the group, you see, obviously, Luco is with Kane amongst the villagers, as is Joanna. Eric is stood at the outskirts, looking at the three of you as you come in, back towards the group. So Rading then, yes?
I believe so.
As you say, it'd be too far away if we think we are where we are.
Right. I don't think those villagers would... well, we've already nearly lost one of them.
Yes. Best not to let them all scatter off into the woods thinking that their homes are destroyed, even if they are.
Exactly.
Besides, I know the Ledge would have sent out an expedition. Although I don't know how long ago. It's only a 2-day ride. I know there was talk of it, but I don't know the specific plans. Where do you think we are then, based on your map?
Well, maybe 4 hours away from Rading. At a guess. I don't know how the scale of this forest.
Then I suggest we move.
Right. If we move quickly, we should be able to make it before nightfall.
He looks up, trying to peer through the trees. Nightfall in the sun's region doesn't fall until maybe 9-10 o'clock at night. Not with the current season.
Well, then we should definitely make it before nightfall, if we are where we think we are. And if we're not, well...
Let's not take chances. I'm ready when you are. I'll go to the villagers, tell them it's time to get up, time to go. He moves over towards the group, starts getting people to their feet.
Erevan is still holding Ogre at this point, and you see him look to his case, but instead, sort of agreeing that we need to move with some haste, he sort of like puts it up behind his shoulder. He lets go and it just sort of stays in place. He just leaves the case behind.
And Mackay sort of, his gaze lingers at you and then turns and... sets off.
Yep. Luco, he kind of has to use his spear as a way to help him up, but he gets up, takes his position at the back again, and he goes off.
I'll take the back as well.
As I'm walking with Griffin, the dog is wounded badly.
Give him a vial.
You're the gatekeeper. You have them.
Very well. So he just slinks back. He just kind of stops moving and pulls up beside you. And that's it. And then he falls into step and he goes, "Drink it. You need
Sure.
it.
You have enough?
That's what they're for, isn't it?"
I guess. Thank you. I wouldn't have assumed it.
No, they're for all of us.
He drinks it.
2d4 plus 4, plus 2 even.
Plus 4? Oh, yeah.
No, plus 2.
God damn it.
I don't understand!
So that's a 1 and a 2.
So 5 points of
Yeah, right.
Rolling hat!
Restore 5 hit points.
Groovy.
Cool. So after he sees it kind of start to work on you, he goes, "I must get back to the point.
Do it.
Look after yourself."
I will. Always try to. Go with my thanks.
So Griffin heads back up. See, as Griffin comes out, you see he's kind of holding his side a bit, and although it's almost like the superficial wounding over the top has healed, he's probably got some pretty bad internal bruising, maybe even bleeding. But he kind of grimaces through it and keeps walking.
Yeah. Amakai doesn't appear to be overly wounded by the blows that he took, but obviously there's still the black staining from his nose. Other than that, he's alright. Continue walking.
Within the next half an hour or so, you notice that the trees begin to thin and the gnarled trunks placed further and further apart. Bird song becomes louder as the denseness of the Baywood begins to fade away and the sunlight of mid-afternoon begins to stream in with glorious waves. In the distance, no more than perhaps a mile away, the last vestiges of the forest give way to open plains and the edges of a cornfield.
Finally, remember guy says.
Griffin just nods for a second, and he heads back, and he kind of slides in next to Joanna and just says, "Be ready for what happens next."
What do you think's going to happen next?
We're going to need you on damage control.
She looks at the group, looks at you up and down. What more damage can possibly be done to these people?
Don't jinx it, my lady. And then with that, Griffin walks back to the front.
Yeah, continue to lead the way towards where we think the village will be.
So you continue on for about half an hour or so. Probably less than that. Yeah, probably about 20 minutes. And upon emerging into this open field, the afternoon light of the sun, Oros, bathes you in all of its glory, and a wave of relief and warmth passes through, a welcome change to the dark woods behind you. But the feeling is short-lived. Whilst it is not impeding the sun's rays, dark plumes of smoke dot your surroundings, rising from barn sheds and farmhouses. The crackle of dying flames fills the plains like a low buzzing, similar to that of a swarm of insects, subtle enough to be ignored, but once noticed, maddening. Rows of trampled cornfields, the golden ears ripped from the ground or flattened, align the gently sweeping hills of the plains. Tracks innumerable lead back and forth to and from the forest, and
towards the direction of where the main bulk of the village of Rading resides, a grey smoke rising from its position. At this, you hear the crying and whimpering of the villagers behind you.
With that, Griffin puts his hand up to stop. Turns to Rakai. We should send them back to the tree line while we have a look and see if there's anything worth salvaging. To take them into that village now.
The Baywood is not safe, Griffin.
It could be. On the outskirts. You leave it with someone like Kane, Eric, with his guns. We're about to take them into a massacre.
At that point, Erebin comes up to stand beside you guys and just says, I agree with Griffin. We can't take them in there after what they've been through. We should go on ahead and see if there's anything we can possibly salvage.
What is it exactly that we're looking for?
A sort of food store, livestock if possible, carts, anything that can help transport these people quickly. As I said on that map, there seems to be another village to the south and also a road that we could follow. We could move quicker. We'll have protection from the forest. It would be a smarter move. Or alternatively, we can take them all in, see if we can find any survivors. Rest.
No, I agree with you. I think that we should see what the lay of the land is there first.
I agree.
I turn and I go back to Joanna. Listen, we're going to go ahead into Rading. We're going to see what's happened there. If it's safe, or if there's anything that we can salvage, we'll come back and fetch you. Are you, Eric, and Kane going to be okay here?
We'll be fine. Kane needs some rest, I think, but Eric, the old sod. Don't let him fool you. Always watching that one.
I know.
He won't let anything happen to these people. Neither will I.
Fine. How long do you think we need? I say to Griffin. An hour? 2?
Tops.
If we're not back within 2 hours, we're not coming back. I give her the map. I suggest you make your way down to this village.
Understood. But you'll be back, won't you? I still owe you gold. Just
yes.
remember that, and okay, you can't go dying just yet.
No, I always collect my pay. Turn and walk off.
At this, as she calls up, as you move away, she calls up and just goes, "Don't forget, Griffin, you owe me some grace wine. Don't go dying on me now."
Only the finest few, my lady. Take them to the tree line. Get some sort of cover. We'll see you shortly. And he blows her a kiss.
As you sort of blow that, Eric moves in front of her.
Always there to intercept.
See you shortly.
He's not smiling though as he does this.
See you shortly, Eric. Those vials are particularly potent.
He turns and points sort of just beyond the tree line. Okay, cool. So from where you are on the edge of the Baywood, based on the map just before you get to Joanna, you are roughly an hour's walk from the village, at least from the outskirts of the village, based on what you can see from the map.
Well, if we're an hour away,
We would have said we'll be.
Yeah.
say 3 hours, so we have an hour in the village.
At a guess, you'd say, like, given where you guessed you were and how long it's taken you to get here, you would guess it would take about an hour to get there. Maybe less. It depends how fast you're going to go.
Cool. Sure.
So we decided if we're not back in 3 hours, we're not coming back.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I should have clarified that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. Cool.
That's right. We all make mistakes.
Thanks.
So is there? So we're in a cornfield now. So this is where the agriculture and farming's been happening.
So this is very open.
Yeah, so it's quite open.
Is there a farmhouse near around?
There is probably probably about 500 to 600 feet away.
Is that also smoking?
Smoking, smouldering. The fire seems to have died out, but there is smoke rising from the building.
Well, since it's in the right direction, Amakai, he doesn't say anything to Griffin, but he just looks at him, Erevan and Luco, and then looks at the farmhouse. He starts to head towards it.
Sure.
Yeah, come on.
Okay.
And he draws his sword.
So you head towards it. This will only take you about a minute or so to get to if you're going at like a reasonably fast pace.
Yeah.
You reach the farmhouse. It's built in a typical Nemosian style, so it's about 2 stories tall. Well, I say 2 stories. It's ground floor, second floor.
Yeah.
Wood, thatched roof.
Is it completely burnt out? Is it a husk?
It's not a husk, but it looks like it's definitely been like the windows are broken in, the door is off of its hinges. It looks like part of the roof has burnt, but it looks like the fire's been quite small and hasn't seemed to have spread.
Right.
So is it? So any livestock are in this farm?
Not that you've
Bodies.
seen. Yeah. So you, as you approach the farm, as I mentioned, the cornfields are trampled and ruined. You see what looks like an enclosure, but there's no livestock in there.
Are there tracks, like lots of tracks?
All over. Claw prints, footprints.
Claw prints.
Larger claw prints as well. Larger than the kobold ones.
What does this look like to you? I sort of look to the others. The smaller, I guess, are kobolds, but this larger one,
Wolves, maybe? That wolf was trying to take one of the peasants deeper into the wood.
True. But direwolves wouldn't run with kobolds, would they?
Kobolds wouldn't act the way that we've seen them acting these last days.
This is true.
They wouldn't run this far out in the open during the day, that's for sure.
I go to the entrance, and obviously the door is off its hinges, but I go to the entrance and have a look in.
So inside is what you would expect to see in a standard farmhouse. As you enter through the hearth, there is a small living room, dining room, kitchen off to one side, stairs leading up, small door with stairs leading down, again broken off of its hinges. To the back, panelled windows, which show out over the enclosure.
Enrica, this homestead has been ransacked. There's nothing for us here. We should head into the town proper.
Don't you see what I'm seeing?
What do you see?
Nothing. Where are the bodies? Where's the family? Where's the livestock? Where is everything? What have they done with it? If they haven't killed them, they haven't slaughtered them, then they've taken them somewhere.
We were taken somewhere. What on earth has happened here?
The second temple. The traveller. He said that the kobolds would not stop in their deed.
Yes, he did say that. And what do you propose to do about it?
We have to deliver these people safely first. And then we put an end to it.
Amakai just shakes his head, goes and leaves the village, the farmhouse. Let's go to Rading and see what's there.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
So yeah, Rading is about an hour's trek away from here.
Okay.
Is there anything you would like to do or discuss in your way upon there? Or do you just want to make a beeline as fast as possible?
Yeah, I just want to
Let's
get
go quickly.
So if you travelled at a fast pace, you would get there. You'd get there about 20 minutes quicker.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be your passive perception would be a lot lower, so you wouldn't notice things as you're going. You wouldn't be actively searching for things as you're going.
No, yeah.
That's fine. Especially if it's open anyway.
Yeah, it's a relatively open field. All the cornfields, even sort of the large cornfields that would have normally provided quite a bit of cover for your approach or for potential ambushes, a lot of them have been flattened or raised to the ground.
Cool.
But after about 20 minutes of travel or so, you make out the silhouettes of caravans, horses, the burnt out husks of the village, but most striking of all, a vast land train. A mighty construct of wood and metal, encircling part of the village of Rading, akin to a gigantic snake, impassively guarding over it. A land train of the College of Explorators. Even from this distance, you can tell that this monstrosity of construction is nearly twice as height as the village houses, and at least 5 times as long.
This is a multi-story train.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's dwarving the houses.
Wow.
Well, it looks like the college are here.
College.
College of Explorators, they were the ones that I wanted to sign up for work. They were the reason that I came to Rading in the first place.
Right. What is that thing? I've never seen anything like it.
Amakai shrugs. I'm not sure what they use it for. A mobile base. But they're not a military guild. They outsource their muscle.
Maybe they're on a rescue mission. Maybe they were too late.
Well, they were due here, but anyway, by all accounts. Is most of the village houses that you can see on the horizon, are they smoking though?
Yeah, so as you're approaching down, there's a path, like a road, as you've come from the woods, you've come across a road which leads directly into the town. But the direction that you're going, it would have been you sort of coming from this direction, you've seen the road come up from there, and you've sort of almost interjoined it at this point. And the road leads directly into the village, and even from this distance you can see that very similar to the farms that you saw on your way in. The houses are burnt, parts of them are in ruins.
I double my pace and go towards the land train.
Yeah, as do I.
As you approach the very edge of the village, bless you, about 5 to 10 minutes later, you realise that the college is well and truly here, but judging from the town's state, they are too late. As I say, much like the farms that you saw in the way, the houses are burnt, they're in ruins, some of them. There are some members of the college that you've seen working in pairs, dousing the flames, one tracing sigils in the air above a vast trough that they've carried with them, almost like a wheelbarrow, and directing streams of water towards the base of a building. And his companion, she's tracing different sigils and essentially moving the flames away into the air, so dispersing the fire and the heat. The train itself, you can see the outriggers are extended and planted into the ground, driven into the dirt to hold it stable. You can see large windows on its side, hatches are propped open. There are parapets lining the top, being patrolled. And ramps are extending out of the hatches to the ground. You notice there are some other members of the college sifting through the ruins, either with hand, using tools, or using magic to move aside rafters, broken furniture, broken doors, collapsed walls. But so far all the people here that you've seen are wearing the telltale signs of the college, the long green trench coats.
And is it wheeled, this train?
From what you can see, you can't tell.
Okay.
Do you know these people, Urban? Are you not of the college?
I'm aware of them. They are not immediate colleagues of mine, but I'm aware of them. I've not seen this before. I've heard about it, but in the flesh it is much more impressive than I could possibly have imagined.
Indeed. Who is it we'll need to speak to here?
Your guess is as good as mine. I think we should probably go and ask fellows in green.
Very good.
Yeah. And Mackay continues to walk directly towards the ship.
So, approaching the land train that you're making your way towards, on the way you do pass some of the members of the college, garbed in their green trench coats. If you wish to approach them, that's entirely up to you.
Yeah, 100%. As soon as there's someone in earshot, and Mackay calls over, "Ho there! Who's in charge?"
One of them spins around the pair, hand
Easy. I've raised my hand.
survivors. Where did you come from?
Well, I'm not from the village, but we do have people that are from the village.
What? Where?
Just by the Baywood. There is a lot to tell you, but we need to speak to who's in charge. Urgently.
That'd be Captain Rhea. She's up with the train itself. You'll see the command tents at the base.
Thank you. I sort of walk past him.
Okay.
Assuming he doesn't try and stop us.
No, they'll let you get on your way. They've got fires to put out and broken stuff to sift through. See if there is anyone else.
Okay. Continue towards the train.
So it doesn't take you long to get there. The village of Rading is actually quite small. Even burnt out, you can tell that it's only maybe around 30 houses, or at least 30 buildings. You can see the broken sign of the direction that you're approaching from. You can see the broken sign of one of the inns on your way in as you approach, which is the... if I can find it. You see the sign of the Jolly Jester.
Okay.
As you pass by one of the inns. You know that Rading is essentially just a trade village. It's used en route from other areas of Nemos towards the main central hubs. So there's quite a few inns here, but you can tell that it's relatively self-sufficient. Obviously you've passed farms on your way. You can see telltale signs of a butcher's, blacksmiths, bakers, homes, houses, and at least this one inn.
But all of the buildings are
everything
smoking.
is smoking, or at the very least looks ransacked and raided.
Okay. Any bodies? Any signs of casualties?
Not that you've seen.
Okay. Yeah, just double time it towards...
Okay, cool. As you approach the main bulk of the land train, you see that it's essentially curved around one edge of the village. And at the base of it, there are a collection of 5 tents put up, one larger one with 2 smaller ones on each side. Behind them you can see that the land train is broken up into sections, 5 sections. The central one has these large hatches opened, ramps coming down. You can see that there's bunk beds inside. Moves probably 5 across, small ladder, 5 across, and carries on like this.
Well, I want to head towards... He said something about command tents. I want to head towards the tent area.
So, as you approach the larger tent area, a woman calls out to you. "Ho there! What are you doing?"
We're looking for Captain Rhea. We have a message, an urgent message for her.
From who?
Well, from Joanna and Eric. I don't know their last names, so I looked at Griffin.
Nor do I.
It's to do with this, well, whatever's happened here. We have some survivors from Rading.
Survivors. Well, you'll have to persuade the captain, not me. She's in the big tent. Good luck.
I sort of stop for a moment and then continue.
So So you all approach the main tent?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So entering the tent, as you open it, there is a small desk in the centre. A woman sat behind it. She looks relatively plain. She's got short brown hair, sort of plaited and braided to one side, sort of trailing down. She too is also wearing the green cloak of everyone else. She seems of average height, build, and like I said, looks relatively plain. But you can sense that there's an aura of authority about her. And you notice that as you enter, she's scrawling away on this desk, and to the side of her are stacks of parchment with a quill writing under its own power, and to the other side another stack of
Writing by
books,
itself.
writing by itself, and another quill writing by itself.
Wow.
And she's just flicking through, scribbling away.
The minute Amakai's first in, he sees it and he sneers.
And Griffin, seeing this, takes the lead. Captain Rhea, I presume.
Who are you?
My name is Griffin, Lapine de la Rose, of House Hainault, of the Kingdom of Excellium, proud member of the Birani Empire.
Yes, titles do not matter, and you can call me Captain Davin, as is my surname, as is per tradition. So, who are you, what are you doing here, and what do you need?
We are in need of your aid.
Well,
We
of
have
course.
survivors of the city of Rading. They are in the Baywood with us now, on the outskirts. 2 of your number are with us as well. A woman called Joanna and her carer, Eric. Their last names elude me. We were captured, put in a cave by kobolds. It's been a hell of a night. We need you to come with an army now.
You expect me to believe that kobolds did this? And you expect me to believe that you happily left supposed villagers of this village in the Baywood? Alone, unprotected,
On the
under the
outskirts.
by 2 people.
3. There's another large fellow called Cain. If you saw him, you'd leave them safe with them as well.
She places a quill in an inkwell. At this, the other 2 quills drop themselves in the quill as well. She tenses her fingers. So you say kobolds took you?
Hard to believe, I know.
Impossible
seem
to
to have
believe,
been-
quite frankly.
They seem to have been in control under a man in black robes. He went by the name of Galen. Not sure this has any...
And this
meaning.
man in black robes and these kobolds, where are they now?
Well, the
Most of
kobolds,
the kobolds
we
are
believe...
dead.
We killed most of them. We believe there is a large muster of them, however, towards the
South.
second temple in the south.
A second temple? A temple? What's
The biggest
temple
part
to
of
you?
this story that we've missed out is that we found a temple of the Cahadril, believe it or not.
Forgive me if I don't.
Well, Captain Rhea,
Davin,
Davin, forgive me.
are you on first name terms with me? Then you may not call me Rhea. You may call me Captain Davin.
Regardless, Captain Davin, we do have survivors of this village. We've been sent by one of your order to come and fetch you, so why don't you heal and do as you're told?
At this, she stands up. You can feel the air almost shake.
Yeah, Amakai doesn't move, he's just like a rock. All we've had is the sharp end of your tongue. Since we came in here, we are tired, you can see that we are beaten and bloody, and there are people that will die unless they get aid. Now! Not yesterday, not tomorrow, now!
And yet you have given me nothing to make me believe you. You speak of men in black robes, you speak of temples, you speak of kobolds, and yet where is your evidence? Where is your proof?
Erevan, aren't you one of this order? Show them your credentials. For God's sake, man.
All I have seen is 4 people enter my tent, calling each other names, shouting at me, and yet, who am I to believe you?
Erevan, did you not take something from this temple?
I did. I am Erevan. I am a scholar of the Kneeling Conclave.
At last, someone of repute.
I spit on the ground.
Ignore him.
I intended to.
I can vouch for these men. I've been with them. We've been through hell. And now we are here. We didn't want to bring the survivors back to this burnt wasteland. They've been through enough already. I can assure you, we have seen what my colleagues have told you. It is all true.
Very well.
Why make it up?
Bandits abound, rumours abound of war on the horizon.
Oh, that's right, clever one. 4 bandits would stroll in to the College of Explorators, a base surrounded by, I don't know how many of your men, 50, 60? That sounds like exactly what we would do.
I never
Will
said
you
bandits
help
were
us?
clever.
This is most unproductive.
Listen, you speak of these things. These are variables which we cannot account for because, quite frankly, they are non-existent now. You speak of this man in black robes. Where is he? Who was he? You say he was in control of kobolds, and yet how? Your words are meaningless, and your explanations, quite frankly, ridiculous.
We
Very
do not
well.
have all the answers that you are asking of us, but we need your help.
Very well. You said that you left people upon the edge, upon the outskirts. I'll send up a unit. You will remain here. If they do not corroborate your story, well, we'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it. If they corroborate your story, then you will have my full apologies.
Good. Send them right away. I'll have a bath while I'm waiting.
No, you will remain here.
Guy just laughs and shakes his head.
Is it?
It is.
Very good. Carry on, Captain.
Captain Devon, as you can see, is there not something you can give us to clean our wounds with? Please, a rag, something. Remember, Luca's still got the blood on his face.
She clicks her fingers. 2 members of the college enter the tent. Take the men to the med bay. They are not to be shackled. They are not to be held or tied as prisoners. But they are to remain here in the village and in sight of the land train. If any of the guards of Elise see that she's gone, then we will send a unit for them. I'm sorry, gentlemen, you have to understand. I've entered a village where there are no bodies. The houses are burned, and then 4 people arrive and tell me that they claim to have found survivors, that kobolds took them, that members of the Order that assisted them in their travels, whose names you cannot recall, and that there was a man in black robes leading them, who's disappeared, and you find temples of Cahadril. You must see from my perspective that this does not add up.
Go to the edge of the Baywood. Find our companions. Then we can talk more of it.
She flicks a look at one of the men that's entered. Send Unit B. Horses, ride out, bring them back if required, if they're there. Do you have a rough place of where they are? Your
Yes.
direction?
Describe the village, the farm and the crop fields just on the edge of the Baywood there.
There will be children, and I believe there's one man who is still injured, although Cain has tended to him. Cain seems to have some sort of healing power.
He's a cleric. He claims his gods give him the power.
He may need more help than the rest. He's put in some work to make sure these people survive.
He's a simple man. He will look threatening, though. Trust me, he is not.
Send Unit B, you escort them to the med bay. Now go.
Thank you very much.
The quills come out and they just start scrawling again.
Okay, so as we're walking off.
Yeah, I know, you knew you were going to say that. Other guy was just, he's like been biting his tongue the whole time.
A captain speaks
Absolute
to me
insolence
in that
of it,
way.
as the other guy says.
I will be a benevolent ruler, and if anyone speaks like that to me in my court, I will have them flogged.
Flogged, but have them killed. There's no captain, commander treats clearly wounded people that way.
Come, let's go to this med bay, clean up our wounds, and find some damn wine.
Perhaps whiskey.
I'll drink paint thinner at this stage.
Yeah, and the guy walks with you.
The member of the college that leads you out. As you leave, one of the members moves off to the left in a run towards the left-hand side of the village, where there are horses tied up on posts outside, calling out for people by names as they sort of leave what they're doing and move over towards the horses. You can hear the galloping of hooves move off into the distance as you make your way towards the approaching it. The one that's leading you, he points to the very end. The end one's the medbay. Second one's the armory, if you need any repairs. But Captain said medbay. Medbay is where you go.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
He sort of nods and walks away.
As we walk, I sort of dart a little glance at you two, just say, frustrating, I know, but please remember I have some sway with these people. I do not appreciate the way she talked to us as much as you did, but we do need their help.
I'm happy for you to do all the talking, Van. In fact, if I talk any more, my words will turn into actions, and I do not wish that. I'm tired.
Very well.
Okay. Approaching the end of the train, you see that there is a small ramp at the back leading up to the bottom level. You also see there's ladders on the side leading up to ledges.
So can we see if there are wheels now?
There's no wheels.
So how is it standing?
At the moment, it's just perched on the ground.
Can you all note this down, please?
Perched
On the ground.
to the ground.
No wheels.
No wheels.
Well, I mean, right, so jokes aside, Amrakai, when he sees this, he goes, I mean, all of Nemos and Valtor, did this thing move? It's huge. It's got no wheels.
I wouldn't underestimate the abilities of this organisation.
You mean more tide wielding is what you mean, don't you?
Well, it's a use of technology, and maybe a little tide wielding for good measure.
That's right. Fling about all of the tide. Why not? Why not? Just goes on into the med bay.
I can't argue with him anymore today. I think it looks impressive, Aravan.
Oh, thank you very much.
So, walking up the rear ramp, as you make your way up, you can see that there's a few beds on either side, but mostly you can see cabinets of tubes, medical supplies, bandages, splints, cloth, rags, things like that, things that can be used for essentially field medicine. There's clearly nothing here for full medical work and medical knowledge, but you can see that there's certainly the ability to do medical aid on the fly.
Yeah.
As you enter, you hear the rummaging of glass bottles, the clinking together, as you see a small figure stood upon one of the workbenches upon the far end. Just beyond that, there is a ladder leading up, and this small figure is stood upon a workbench. You can see their feet, you can see the bottom of their body, and you can see them rummaging inside a cabinet.
Hello there.
A small, bespectacled woman pokes out from behind the cabinet door. You can see that she is one of the Genna, so the gnomes of the world of Valtor.
This Griffin's face lights up. It's like cough.
Griffin.
It's one of the little people. Hello. We are in need of aid.
Griffin.
They don't speak our language.
The smile sort of starts to like, the smile just sort of stays there, and she sort of looks across all of you. Well, I can see that you're in aid because, quite frankly, you're talking to me like I'm an idiot. So why don't you take a seat? You three seem okay. Not you, big man. You can sit over there. You look bloody. You, however, I need to check your head. And she pulls out like a big, like, drill. Like, essentially, it's like a corkscrewed piece of metal. Go on, lie down.
She's been trained very well. Very good, little person. I will lie down here in front of you, but please be careful. I've had a long day.
Good. What can I do for you? I mean, you say you're injured, but what do you need?
Well, I believe I might be bleeding internally. I've had one of these vials, and I show you.
She takes it.
Which
Yes, standard issue.
seem to help me superficially. However, all of my insides feel like they're on fire.
Well, they will. This is quite potent medicine. It will make it feel like that for about 2 or 3 hours or so, but then you'll feel fine and your wounds will heal. It's okay. I wouldn't recommend taking more than 2 doses within the space of 24 hours, though, because that may cause you to bleed out of places where you do not want to bleed.
I see. So it would be safe to take another one now?
How many have you taken?
In the last 24 hours?
Yes.
1. I've taken 1.
You don't seem sure.
I'm not.
I think
If I do the math here, it's definitely been 1.
Definitely been 1.
Yes.
Okay, I will need you to sign all of this paperwork to say that I have encouraged you to not do it. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, who are you? You don't look like the normal members of the college.
We're friends of Captain Devon.
Oh.
Rhea.
We're
We're friends of Rhea.
She lets you call her Rhea.
That's lovely.
You must be friends.
Oh yes,
she
we're
doesn't
on
have friends.
first name basis. She made a point of it.
Oh, I see. Right. So what is it that you need?
Well, I would like another one of those vials if you had a spare one.
As
Just the
would I.
one?
Well, yeah, I think maybe for all of us.
Do you have the paperwork to release them?
Oh,
I
we have the
believe I
captain's
just...
authority. She sent us directly here.
I will need the captain's paperwork. She's a stickler.
I'm afraid she was slightly tied up. He's speaking Guineas at this point.
Sure. Ah, you speak the language. Where are you from? How do you know?
I'm from many places, sister. Most recently, the conclave in Neelan.
So the language that they're speaking is really... She's been speaking quite well and fast at you. This is really slow, but it's almost guttural sounding. It's a really strange sound to be coming out of this tiny 4-foot woman who's who's literally standing on a workbench, speaking at a half-elf.
Yeah. Griffin is just watching you in awe. He just...
Yeah, I'm a guy surprised as well.
So you come from the scholars? Oh, fantastic.
This is the first time I've heard of this structure before. This train is absolutely colossal and fantastic.
Oh, Elise is a marvel, isn't she? Can you believe she's one of the smaller ones? I can't believe I was stationed here. It was amazing.
The smaller ones.
Yes, she's one of the twins.
What? What did you call it? Elise.
Yes, apparently it's named after the king's sister.
I see.
Look, that's not important. So, how many vials did you need?
Well, I'll be honest with you, we have already had a difficult journey. We would appreciate as much as you can give us.
But you don't have the paperwork. This is a problem. This is a problem. And her foot starts tapping up and down on the workbench.
Is there any kind of agreement we can come to without the paperwork?
There's nothing that I need.
Is there anything you want?
There's nothing that I want. I mean, I have access to the College of Expirators. I literally have anything that I can need and anything I want, and if that's part of the scholars as well. And she just starts rambling off to herself.
Ericus puts his head in his hands, looks at Griffin. Do something now.
At this point, can I cast Minor Illusion?
To do what?
To put the paperwork in front of her?
Yes, he can.
I believe that
Oh,
is
yes,
something
yes,
you
you
can
can.
do. So minor illusion, you can create a sound, it can be a voice, you can create the image of an object, such as a chair, muddy footprints, or a small chest. It must be no larger than a 5-foot cube. It cannot create sound, light, smell, or other sensory effect. Physical interaction with the image reveals it to only be an illusion because things can pass through it. So I will let you do it, but you need to be very careful how you do it.
Interesting. What did we just say? Well, the captain did give us a few different pieces of paperwork. I don't know. He reaches into his jacket and sort of fiddles around for a second and pulls it out in front of her. Is this one of the things that you were talking about? This work?
She moves her spectacles up to it. That'll do. Right.
Wonderful. Like I said, we need as much as you can offer.
She starts rummaging through again. You can hear clinking, clattering. Not necessarily the breaking of glass, but you can tell it's quite vigorous in terms of how it's being moved to the sides. Right. Do you have your bandolier?
Yes.
The strip that the vase would have come in?
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
Yes. Back. She hands it back to you. It's fully filled. You have 6 vials.
Very good.
Now, is there anything else that I can do for you?
Well, unfortunately, you're stuck with us because we have also been asked to stay here.
What did the captain say exactly?
Oh, she confined us to the medical bay.
Stay here. If we try to escape, we're to be killed.
Yeah, something along those lines.
That sounds like the captain. Well, she's usually quite open with her wording. Did she specifically say to stay here in the med bay, or did she say stay here?
She said the med bay.
Yes.
Ah, right.
She said head towards the med bay, do not go anywhere else, and wait there until Unit B returns with the rest of our party.
Right, well, okay. How many... So you've had 2, but you've signed a waiver, so that's okay.
I believe I've only had one.
You've had 1, and you've signed the waiver, so that's okay. You're about to have 2, I'm sure.
Yes.
But she jumps down. She trots over to a drawer. She opens it. Everything that she does is quite almost over eager and violent in the movements. Like everything is yanked and brushed to one side. It has to be boom, 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 boom. So this drawer's yanked open.
Very much like Cobb.
Bits of paper fly everywhere. You hear a... Because I have work to do. And she gives you this like horrendously scrunched up piece of paper that she's just scrawled upon. Doctor's orders. Bunks. Go. Sleep. Sleep it off. Rest until you're needed. But I can't have you in here just yet, I'm afraid. I cannot get you to sign waivers for what I'm about to try. And then at that, she sort of waves her hand in front of the goggles, places like fingers to each side, and they sort of go, these metal things go, and form almost like this face mask over her goggles. She then pulls up a scarf that's around her neck over her face. Go, rest. I'm not having you in here when the fumes go off.
Amakai starts backing away, but doesn't take his eyes off of her. Like literally walking backwards away from her.
Griffin bows. Thank you very much. And waves.
She replies back, "You're welcome."
Her English is very good. Very good.
So we could take a short rest.
She literally points through the land train.
Yeah.
There's a hatch that is essentially like a ship's seal. So you can unwind it.
Okay.
And moving through would take you to an area similar to what you saw previously, which is layers of bunk beds,
Okay.
basically.
Yeah, so make our way through. Yeah, and Makai will actually sit on one of the bunks and then just lie down.
Yeah, I do the same.
Yeah, me too.
We rest.
Okay. Cool. What sort of rest would you like to do?
Well, considering we're expecting them to be back within 2 hours,
Yes, gonna
it'll be a short rest.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
As much as I would like
Yes.
a long rest.
So, you will take a short rest for about an hour.
Hit die. Sorry. That was a cough. That was a cough.
You will take a short rest for about an hour. You've used all of your hit die.
Right. How do you get them back? With a long rest?
With a long rest, yes.
You get all of them back. in one day.
You get half of them back that you have available.
Rounding up.
Rounding down.
Damn.
So basically, you get one hit die back if you have a long rest.
How
For
long
now.
is a long rest?
8 hours. Yeah. So if you have a short rest, any short rest abilities will restore. No hit points will, but you do have 6 vials of the healing tonic now.
Amrokai says, Griffin,
Yeah, hands you one.
I pop the cork and have one of them just before I lay my head down.
Yeah, as do I. Anyone else want one?
Yeah.
I will have one too.
Okay. So we have 2 left in total.
Okay, so everyone's had one, yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So that'll be 2d4 plus 2 for each of you, yeah?
Okay.
As Erin takes it, he glances at Amrakai and says, "See, the tie's not all bad, is it?"
Right.
Amrokai looks very sternly, but like away from you, directly at a wall.
Okay, so I get 2d4 plus 2.
2d4 plus 2.
Right, so I got 4. So I rolled a 3 and a 1, and then plus 2 equals 6. So I'm on 17. Feeling much better.
That's good. Okay. Sorry, Luca, go
Yep.
for it.
Right, so I rolled a 4 and a 2. Plus 2, that's 8. I love it when you're rolling and you don't say anything. It's brilliant.
I roll a 3 and a 1, plus 2, so 6.
I got a 4 and a 3. Plus 2. I'm fully healed now.
Ooh, I'm fully healed.
I've got about 8 wounds in total.
What does happen just before Luco lies down? Before he takes a vial, and then Waiparo jumps out from his bag. So Luca's kind of sat there. Waiparo's on his lap, and he just kind of looks at him. He says, "I'm fine. It's all right. Don't worry." He's kind of patting him for a little while. And just after a few moments of patting, Luco's eyes kind of roll back into his head, and he just kind of gently falls back into the bed. What Waipara does, he scuttles out of the room, and he climbs up to what would be the roof of the room we're in,
Okay.
part of the drain we're in,
Yeah.
and he sits there watching.
So the top of the room that you're in.
Yeah. So he's on the outside on the roof.
On the outside, so on the top of the land train.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Mm.
You guys? Just resting?
Yeah, Amrokai actually, he falls asleep.
So you're asleep. I'm assuming you guys are just full on. Just resting. Yeah. About 40 minutes or so pass, enough for you to have received the benefits of a short rest at this point as well. As you hear the metal door, and you see a member of the college stood there.
Amrokai immediately bolts up. It's the sound.
Looks in. Well, the captain will see you now. Come along.
Oh, good. We get to speak with Rhea again. Amrokai gets up, buckles his sword back onto his belt.
Okay. The member leads you out, back through the med bay. You see the small Ganas doctor. You notice that the goggles have been moved up,
You can see that there are small circles of her normal skin tone around her eyes. The rest is slightly darkened, and there is a bubbling pot in one corner. She sort of watches you as you go past.
When Amrakai enters that room and walks past her, his head is just always looking at her as he walks. He doesn't take his eyes off of her until he's out of the space.
Okay.
Everyone
And
thinks her again as he goes
she
through.
doesn't notice you doing this. She
That's
sort of
fine.
goes straight back to her work. As you leave, and you walk past some of the smaller tents, so you've come out of the back of the land train, moving past two of the smaller tents, you recognise there are some of the villagers inside these tents being tended to by the members of the college. And approaching the main tent, as you enter, you see Eric and Joanna are inside, sat on one side on some chairs. The captain is still feverishly writing away.
Just on the way in, do we see the half elf that Ereban was talking to?
No.
Okay.
Is Kane there?
You haven't seen him, no.
But we have recognised some of the villages that we
Yes, you have.
Yeah. So, at seeing them, Griffin bows. Eric, Joanna, my lady, I'm glad you're well.
Hey, we're not too bad. I mean, I'll let Eric explain.
Explain.
What's happened, Eric?
Eric looks at you, looks at the captain. The good captain here. At this, you can see her look up from her desk, like eyes narrow at the group of you. Joanna and Eric have moved forward to you at this point. The good captain is making the judgment to wait for reinforcements.
Wait.
Yes.
Wait instead of what?
At this, the captain pipes up. I'm not sending entire units on a fool's errand into the Baywood just before nightfall to rescue people that we do not know are even there. We need intel. We need scouting. I need proof before I am to sacrifice the lives of my men on some fool's errand.
How long until reinforcements arrive?
From the ledge, 2 days.
It's too long. These people will be dead. Do you understand? And then their lives will be on your head. If you do not wish to waste the lives of your men and women, I will go.
If you want scouts, you just might be looking at them.
Whoa. Hold on. What is it exactly that you're suggesting here? I mean, if it is what I think it is, which is going to that second temple, if it is a temple, are we sure it even is in the Baywood? It was south of the temple for sure. But actually it could be south of the Baywood itself.
Well, we study the map, we find out exactly where it is, and whatever it is, we go there. Soon.
Well, the only problem with that, Griffin, is that the map is on that stone floor. We'll have to do it from memory. Unless someone copied down the locations. I look around at everyone. Look to Joanna.
She looks across at you, Griffin. She looks at Luco. She looks at Erevan. She looks at Arakai. Looks up at Eric. No, I'm afraid I don't remember.
Eric, can you track?
You can see that Anrakai's about to say something and then stops.
Eric, what do you think? You work with this. You work with the college. Do you think the captain's right? Honestly, my lady, I have to agree. As much as we want to save these people, we've done what we can, but we don't know how many more are out there, who else is out there, how many kobolds are out there, what else is out there.
Hold on a minute. This plot is becoming somewhat thick. You said Eric works with the college. I thought you were the main leader in the college.
No, I'm a scholar. I know it's quite difficult for you to think outside of, more than 2 decimals. Let me break it down for you. Scholars are independent. The college is Nemosin.
Right, and so I'm being employed by the scholars, by you, yes?
No, you're on personal retainer.
Well, that personal retention perhaps is due now, no?
At this, Eric sort of interjects. Look, my lady, I understand that you perhaps want to help these people, although I imagine it's more to explore this second place. She tries to stop herself from nodding at this.
Maybe not.
But without the assistance of the college, we don't know what we're walking into. I have to agree with the captain here. I suggest we stay here, recuperate, wait, and then we make our way in full force.
And potentially find no survivors.
Into where? You wish to
Or
find a second temple?
potentially go in and lose everyone. Lose more than we could always potentially lose. This is the risk that will always be there.
Or we go.
My charge is to look after her. And she's not going with you. Are we clear?
She doesn't have to go with us.
I'm not so clear. You work for the college. She's a scholar. What's the connection? Why are you so adamant on protecting the woman? You're not even part of the same guild. Who's employing who here? And when do I get my money? Something about this situation doesn't make much sense. Can't you see that? I sort of look to the others.
No, which is why I want to get to the bottom of it. Sooner rather than later. These tracks will leave us. All of these tracks, which are all over this floor, will lead us exactly where we need to go. Eric, I know you can track. I've seen you do it. We could go now. Bring back the precious information that you need, Captain. Send in the cavalry.
She looks up at Eric. Would this be sanctioned by your commander? You're not part of my unit. He looks.
It would be sanctioned, but I would advise against it. And he listens to me.
Very well. We rest.
Fine.
Amakai looks at Joanna, looks at Eric, and then looks at the captain.
If there's nothing else, you may use the land train for its bunking, for resting, but I have work to do. I have messages to send, I have plans to draw up, I have units to divide. So if you are to rest, then I suggest you rest. Perhaps we will discuss this again in the morning over breakfast, because I'm sure you will be entering my tent to interrupt my breakfast.
Very good.
Fair enough.
Griffin walks out.
Yeah. As Amakai walks out, he says, "Apology accepted, Captain." She did say she would offer profuse apologies if it turned out that we were wrong. It's the last thing. He just says it just on the way out.
So, if you were to enter the land train, at this point it is, by the time all is said and done, it is coming up to about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Bearing in mind you have at this point been awake for about 12 hours, having slept on a rocky floor, taken the odd respite rest, but having fought and bled quite a bit. So it is entirely your choice, but the land train is available if you wish.
This is our first opportunity to get some real rest since we woke up in that cave.
Some real food. Let's say to him.
It's quite tempting.
I go looking for food.
Mm-hmm.
Once I've had my fill, I go looking for wine as well, and then I sleep.
So just before I go off to seek the same, I turn to Joanna and Eric and I say, so when do we conclude our business? Or extend it?
Eric shoots a glance at Joanna. You're the one that made the deal, my lady.
Were you lying? You don't have the money?
I wouldn't worry about that, okay? Griffin! Kitchen's on the top floor of the rear train. I'm gonna join you.
Thank you, Eric.
He sort of walks off at this. Joanna stands there looking at you. Look, and okay, we can conclude business and you can be on your way. But unfortunately, I'm not able to get the coin for you right now.
Cash flow problem, perhaps.
More along the lines of I can't exactly go home at the moment to go and get it because I'm here and home is not here. I
Right.
don't tend to carry around a huge amount of cash where I go.
And so it's fascinating. What do you propose that I do? Just follow you all over the lands and risk my life for absolutely nothing?
Not absolutely nothing. I'll pay you. But you may need to just wait a wee bit longer. Not too much longer, but you know that you won't get paid if I end up going into the Baywood by myself outside of Eric's point of view and I end up getting lost and or murdered or killed.
Listen, Joanna, I know you think I'm a fool, and that's fine. But actually, I know a liar when I see one, and you've been lying to me for some time. So is Eric. I don't know what it is that you two are hiding, but none of this makes any sense. Whether you have the money, whether you don't have the money, if I'm honest, I don't care anymore. I would have not survived leaving that temple without your help. I'll give you that. In that respect, we could clear the debt. But I am not following you across the land, and I am not going into any more death traps with you on nothing but a hope and a prayer. You pay me, or you tell me the truth. Give me a reason to go with you. Otherwise, you're by yourself.
Is gold not a good enough reason for you, Ramnakai?
It is, but I haven't seen any yet.
And you will. You just need to have a wee bit of faith.
Faith, something which I have nothing of.
Well, that's more your problem, not mine. But trust me when I say that when I will pay my debts, I pay my debts. You've done me a service, and service is always rewarded. And besides, I've got a slight inkling that you... Well, you haven't been 100% truthful from the start as well, have you? But that's not my place to pry, because unlike you, I don't care whether you've been lying to me or not. All I care about is that there are people in that forest that need help. And if there's the slight advantage or bonus that I might be able to get to find out places and more things about the character, then so be it. And you care that I have gold for you. And if you don't want that gold, then so be it. If you consider the debt paid, then so be it. I personally don't. I said I would pay you, and I will.
You did say that, but I'm not sure you have the gold to pay me with.
Trust me, I do. You may not see it right now, but you will. As I said that first moment that we met, and this applies to all of your friends.
When you say friends, I sort of look around at the others and
I will pay my debt, and I'll put you in my good book. And that is where you'd want to be, and that okay. You may not like it, but being alone is dangerous. I'd like to be alone, and yet Eric follows me everywhere. Having a favour that you can call in, it's not a bad thing. Go get some sleep, have some wine, have some food, think about it. I'll soon know whether you want to join me or not.
Oh, I certainly need some rest, he says. We'll talk again in the morning. Or perhaps you'll join us for dinner. And I sort of go up, follow Griffin where he went in the land train.
So, while that's been happening, Luco's actually still around. He's just been kind of off to the side listening. And so you kind of walked away?
Yeah.
Yeah. Once he appears to be out of the earshot, Luco just approaches Joanna. Just gives her a nod. My lady.
Oh, not you as well.
I only have one thing to say.
Aye.
It seems to me that, for whatever reason, it's a shame that so many people would do things not for the good, but for simply what they get out of it. Thank you very much for all your help, and if you need me, just ask.
Oh, don't worry about that. I have plans for all four of you.
I expect nothing in return.
Sorry, I just saw Griffin stare at me.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm gonna go off to get some food and rest.
That sounds like a good idea. I may join you all a bit later.
I would like that. Thank you again. And he goes
So
off.
everyone goes to walk off as well. But turns to Joanna and just says, "Can you believe it? We may have stumbled across the Temple of the Gahadriel."
We'll talk about it later when there's people that actually, understand the impact of it.
A lot has happened today, but that is standing out as something quite exciting.
Yes, but as we said, we must keep this potentially quite quiet. We've already told one too many people. Captain admittedly doesn't believe us, so that's not exactly a bad thing, but Look, let's discuss this later.
Agreed.
I personally will be joining you all for dinner a little bit later. I need to go and rest.
Excellent. I believe there's an admirer of yours that owes you a glass of wine, but I will see you shortly.
So you all head for food, for wine, just to essentially warm yourself.
Yeah.
The food is filling, if simple. Freshly cooked, but by no means gourmet. The wine is certainly nothing that you're accustomed to. But it is wine, and after the day that you've had, well, anything's better than nothing.
When I go upstairs, is Griffin already seated with a bottle of wine?
He
Yeah.
would have been, yes.
Oh yeah. He has both red and white, and then like an off pink coloured wine as well.
Let's go rosé.
Just kind of looking at them like this.
He's sitting at a table.
Yeah,
You're at
by
the top.
himself.
By
yeah.
yourself.
Oh, well, Eric is probably around. If Eric is sitting at the same table with me,
He's off to one side.
yeah.
Yeah.
Griffin's kind of not paying him any heed at this time.
Yeah.
When Amrakai comes in, he actually goes over. There's plenty of empty tables, but he actually goes over to your table. May I join you?
Only if you're bringing wine. These are for me.
But of course. I actually get whiskey. I get a bottle of whiskey.
That'll do.
Sure.
Yeah, Luco enters not long after. He kind of looks in. He goes to go to the table, but he can see that Griffin is intently looking at these bottles, and he just kind of goes, ah. So he goes to get his own bottle of wine. He gets a nice big bottle of red, And he comes to his table and said, "Mind if I join?"
Yes, of course, sit.
Thank you.
Everyone will do the same. He'll walk straight over to the table. He'll pick up the bottle of whiskey and pour himself a glass.
So, libations, food, and I'm afraid the end of a session.
Ah.
You're going to
So-
get so lit right now.
So we'll have to pick up just before our party begins their
Party.
nourishment.
Oh no! That makes me feel dirty.
So that's it. Another episode done. Chapter 7 complete now. Chapter 8 coming up next over and on demand very, very shortly. So what is sure to be interesting as we potentially may divide. We're not all really set up to go in the right direction. There's still some tension in the group, I think.
It's
So
the end of the first day.
yeah.
Yeah.
All
It's been
in
a
a day. All in a day's work.
A day. Think about it, let that sink in for a
So guys, hope you've enjoyed this one. We'll be returning very, very soon. Until next time, this has been a Cast of Players.